Thursday morning, 10:30 a.m. Providence Municipal Court. 22-year-old Victoria Romano sweeps into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom with the swagger of someone convinced the entire legal system exists beneath her. Her $4,000 Hermes handbag taps against her hip like a rhythmic reminder of her wealth. A Cartier diamond bracelet sparkles under the fluorescent lights each time she flicks her wrist. Her designer heels strike the marble floor with the assurance of a woman who has never heard the word no from anyone with authority. But it isn't the luxury labels that command attention. It's the poisonous entitlement she wears more loudly than her jewelry. Victoria moves with the confidence of someone whose father sits on the Senate Judiciary Committee and whose last name traditionally erases consequences. Trailing behind her is Thomas Whitman, one of New England's priciest defense attorneys. Normally calm and polished, he looks rattled today. He checks his Rolex repeatedly while murmuring desperate instructions that Victoria completely ignores. You might be wondering why a senator's daughter has landed in Judge Caprio's courtroom. Last Saturday at 2 a.m., while driving her father's government-issued sedan through downtown Providence, Victoria decided that red lights were merely decorations. After blasting through 3 of them while live-streaming, she plowed into a parked police cruiser at 55 mph in a 25 mph zone. When officers Martinez and Johnson approached her, she didn't apologize. Instead, she delivered the line that would later explode across social media. "Do you idiots know who my father is? You can't touch me. I'm Senator Romano's daughter." When Officer Martinez attempted to perform a breathalyzer test, Victoria laughed. "I don't take tests from people who work for my family. My father pays your salaries." And when they informed her she was under arrest, she escalated further. "You can't arrest me. I have diplomatic immunity. My father will end your careers before sunrise." The entire confrontation was recorded on body cameras, and the footage went viral. Victoria belittling police, claiming immunity she doesn't have, and insisting her father's position protects her from accountability. Today, Victoria saunters into Judge Caprio's chambers expecting her connections to make the situation disappear. What she doesn't realize is that Judge Caprio watched every second of that video and is fully prepared to deliver a life-altering lesson on accountability. As the hearing unfolds, Victoria will behave so outrageously that she will end up being physically removed from the courtroom in handcuffs. When she tells Judge Caprio that he can't touch her because of her father, she will discover the truth. American courts don't bow to political privilege. This won't be just a court proceeding. It will be a showcase of what happens when arrogance meets justice. Hit that like button and get ready to watch entitlement collide with reality as a senator's daughter learns her father's influence has no power inside a courtroom. The bailiff announces, "The state of Rhode Island versus Victoria and Romano." Charges: driving under the influence, destruction of government property, resisting arrest, threatening law enforcement officers. Victoria strolls to the defense table as though arriving at a fashion event curated in her honor. She doesn't acknowledge the judge, the staff, or even her attorney. Instead, she pulls out her phone and immediately begins taking selfies. Judge Caprio looks up with measured patience. "Good morning, Ms. Romano." Victoria doesn't respond. She's too focused on capturing the right angle for her courtroom photo shoot. "Ms. Romano, I am speaking to you." She looks up with irritation, annoyed that her picture-taking has been interrupted. "Oh, hi, I'm just recording this circus for my followers. They love watching government workers fumble around." She lifts her phone toward him. "You don't mind if I live stream, right?" "My audience enjoys seeing where their taxes go." Judge Caprio's voice tightens. "Ms. Romano, this is a court of law. Put your phone away and show appropriate respect." Victoria rolls her eyes dramatically and drops her phone into her purse. "Fine, but let's make this quick. I have a spa appointment at noon and they don't bend their schedule for government employees." Shock ripples through the courtroom. Judge Caprio reviews the report. Ms. Romano, according to officers Martinez and Johnson, you were intoxicated when you crashed into a police vehicle at 55 miles per hour. I wasn't drunk, she insists. I had maybe 2 cocktails at a charity function. I was totally fine. It was just an unfortunate accident. You refused a breathalyzer, Victoria shrugs. I don't participate in roadside testing by local officers. My family has diplomatic protection because of my father's Senate role. Senators' families do not have diplomatic immunity, Judge Caprio says firmly. Victoria genuinely looks stunned. Your Honor, that can't be correct. My father is on the Judiciary Committee. He writes the laws. Of course we receive special treatment. Judge Caprio reads from the report. You told Officer Martinez, you can't touch me. I'm Senator Romano's daughter. Would you like to explain? She nods confidently. I was simply stating the truth. Local officers don't have authority over Senate families. It's how government hierarchy works. You believe police cannot arrest senators' children? Absolutely. Federal families are shielded from local harassment. It's called separation of powers. Judge Caprio presses on. You threatened their jobs for doing their duties. I wasn't threatening, she says with a dismissive wave. I was correcting them. Sometimes local officers forget their place. The courtroom buzzes with disbelief. Judge Caprio reads further. You told Officer Johnson you had diplomatic immunity. Do you understand that term? It means government officials and their families cannot be arrested by people lower in rank. That's basic civics. No, Judge Caprio says sharply. Diplomatic immunity applies only to accredited foreign diplomats, not senators. Victoria looks annoyed. That doesn't sound right. My father cannot be prosecuted. That protection extends to us. Judge Caprio continues. When you crashed into the cruiser, what concerned you most? Victoria answers without hesitation. My image. If someone posted the crash, it could damage my brand. I work hard on it. You weren't concerned about injuries or damage. No one got hurt, and insurance covers government cars. These things get handled through proper channels without dragging me into local courts. You destroyed a police vehicle used for public safety, Caprio says. Victoria shrugs. Police have budgets for new cars. I practically helped them upgrade. Then she makes her biggest mistake. Your Honor, I respect that you have a job, but this will be handled at the federal level. My father's office is already resolving it. Judge Caprio's tone turns icy. Explain. Victoria leans forward confidently. Senator Romano's office has contacted the Department of Justice about this overstep. Federal prosecutors will take over if necessary. You are saying your father is intervening in your criminal case, she nods proudly. Exactly. Local courts don't have jurisdiction when federal families are traveling for government purposes. You were on government business at 2 a.m. I was returning from a charity event for disadvantaged kids. Representing my father is part of my unofficial duties. Judge Caprio has heard enough. Miss Romano, you've claimed senators' children are above the law, that police work for your family, and that your father is influencing this case. Victoria smiles faintly, thinking she has finally made her point. Judge Caprio straightens. Let me teach you something about American law. She sits forward expectantly. No one is above the law, not senators, not their families, not anyone. Your father's position gives you no immunity. Your wealth grants you no privilege here, and your last name carries no authority in this courtroom. Victoria's confidence begins to fracture. You drove under the influence, destroyed public property, threatened officers, and falsely claimed immunity. He continues, voice rising. More importantly, you admitted that your father is interfering with judicial proceedings. That could be a federal crime. Victoria's expression collapses. Bailiff, contact the FBI's Public Integrity Section. We may have a case of obstruction of justice. Victoria panics. Wait, I didn't mean that literally. His office didn't contact anyone. I was just explaining how things normally work. Normally, Miss Romano, Caprio asks. So you've used your father's position before. He turns to the prosecutor. Prepare additional charges for attempted obstruction and intimidation of law enforcement. Victoria's lawyer finally speaks. Your Honor, my client is young. She is 22 and just confessed to federal crimes, Caprio responds. For DUI and property destruction, 90 days in county jail, a $5,000 fine and a 2-year license suspension. Victoria gasps. For threatening officers and claiming false immunity, 30 days and a $2,000 fine. This is too harsh, she pleads. This is not a traffic case. It is criminal misconduct and abuse of political privilege. And for attempting to obstruct justice, I hold you in contempt. Bailiff, take her into custody. Victoria leaps up. You can't do this. I'm Senator Romano's daughter. You can't touch me. Judge Caprio's reply is lethal. Miss Romano, watch me. The bailiff approaches with handcuffs. Victoria backs away in disbelief. This is illegal. My father will fire you. You can't arrest me. You have the right to remain silent, the bailiff tells her. I suggest you use it. The cuffs click shut. Victoria screams for her father as she is dragged out of the courtroom. Judge Caprio says calmly, after we investigate your claims, your father may need his own attorney. Outside, news cameras catch the senator's daughter being escorted to a transport van. Within hours, Senator Romano holds a press conference condemning her conduct and confirming his office never contacted the DOJ. 3 months later, Victoria Romano sits in county jail, finally understanding that in the United States, justice is blind, even to senators' children who believe they are untouchable. Judge Caprio's ruling didn't just punish her actions. It proved that absolutely no one stands above the law.